What'd I tell you, Derek? A meal fit for a king, or for a chief, at least, right?
This is the best meal I've had in a long time. I want to thank you both for inviting me.
Well, I'm really glad you could come.
Chief, if you want seconds or thirds or even a doggy bag to take home, you just holler. There's plenty more in the kitchen.
Pity the poor bachelor, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
How do you like being single again?
Well, it's got its advantages. But I'll admit sometimes I get a little lonely.
You know, when I think back on my bachelor days, they weren't so bad. I had one rule only that I lived by. Never get involved with another man's wife. Why is everybody so quiet?
They're too busy chewing, Mr. C.
I'm sure you're a lot happier man than I am, Miles. Married to a lovely lady like Nicole.
I'm a lucky man, all right.
Derek, I'm sure you'll meet somebody. Attractive, intelligent men they don't stay alone for very long.
You don't have a twin sister, do you?
You mean you haven't noticed the resemblance between me and Mrs. C? I'm kidding. Oh, if I were only a few years younger.
You know, Nicole, I knew that you and Derek had gotten to be pretty good friends the past couple of weeks, but I hadn't realized until tonight that you were plotting behind my back.
What are you talking about?
Oh, when you were in here with Mrs. Goodman, setting a table, Derek and I were having a nice little conversation in the living room, and he let me know that you both agreed that you thought that I had been working too hard and probably need a little vacation.
Now, wait a minute. That was my own opinion. Nicole didn't put me up to say that.
Derek even went so far as to suggest it might not be a bad idea if I took a separate vacation.
Now, wait a minute. I think I'm being misquoted here. What I said was, I think you should get away from Monticello. Get away from your work, from everything.
Everything, yeah, you said everything. That means the home, wife and family, includes them. Just about the same thing, isn't it?
No, it isn't. You're joking.
No. Who knows? Might be kind of a change for us.
I don't know. If I had a wife like Nicole, separate vacations would be out of the question. I'd want to spend every minute that I could with her.
Yeah, she is a beautiful woman. Very easy to be with.
This conversation is getting very silly. I assure you, Derek, that there is no chance of us taking separate vacations. I still think of us as being newlyweds.
Oh, come on now. Come on. You got to admit that I have not been that easy to live with the past few weeks.
Your nerves have been a little bit strained because of too much work and too little rest.
Yes, all right. I am a grouch. Wouldn't you appreciate a few days away from this grouch of a husband?
Don't put words into my mouth. The idea is ridiculous.
Doesn't sound like she intends on letting you go so easily, Miles.
We've had so little vacation time to enjoy together. If we go anywhere at all, we are going hand in hand.
Whatever you say.
Honey, all you need is a little bit of rest and relaxation, and you're gonna be your old lovable self, and I'm gonna be there right beside you to give you all the tender, loving care that you need, and that is that.
Okay, who's for dessert? Pecan pie and the best cup of coffee this side of the Rockies.
Derek, would you like some pie?
I'd love some.
Good.
If you two ever do manage to get away for a little time together, would you take your son with you?
Oh, I don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I suppose it depends on where we want to go, and if I can find somebody to take care of him.
Hey, what's the matter with me, Mrs. C?
You're volunteering?
Oh, listen, I've been trying to get you two to go away for ages. You deserve some time together. Go ahead, you make your plans. I'll take good care of that.
It's very nice of you, Mrs. Goodman.
Derek, I'm going to go upstairs and see Adam in just a little while. Would you like to come up and see him again?
I'd love to.
You'll like him. He's a good little kid.
There must be a baby boom in Monticello. I just met Logan's son not too long ago.
Oh, well, Jamie is a baby, but we have a young man.
Well, let's go see him. I want to check out his potential as officer material.
Oh, don't tell me that they have uniforms in toddler sizes with the Monticello PD. Here you go, your
second cup of hot tea with honey. It's very good for you, so drink it all up, enjoy it, like it, and all of that stuff.
Thank you, Mother. I opened the door to the Scots tonight, and instead I get Florence Nightingale and young Dr. Kildare.
We knew you weren't feeling very well, so we came by to cheer you up.
Well, just your visit would have done that. You didn't have to bring dinner and flowers.
Oh, how long will it be before you're up and around?
Oh, I don't know. My fever's gone. I'm a little rubbery-legged. I should be in the office tomorrow, the next day.
Hey, take it easy. The one thing you don't need is a relapse.
Well, if it gets me another one of April's home-cooked meals, might be worth it.
Oh, no, wait a second. A healthy Logan Swift is welcome in our house anytime.
Right.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, let me do that.
No, I can get my own pillow. I'm not incapacitated, you know.
All right, go ahead. If you want to be that way, self-sufficient and been macho and all those things will go right ahead.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Don't mind if I do. I do want you to know how thoughtful it is for you two to be here. I really appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Just don't get too close.
No, this being pampered's not bad. Of course, if I wasn't sick, I'd probably enjoy it more.
If you weren't sick, we wouldn't be here. Oh, come on. I know how lousy it is to be sick. It just makes it a little easier when someone's there to kind of make you more comfortable.
Geraldine has been by my side since my first sneeze. That's another reason I'm glad you're here tonight. Gives her a chance to get off for a while. As a matter of fact, I think she's talking business with your mother.
Oh, yeah? What's that all about?
Oh, I'm sure you're going to find out first thing tomorrow morning at the station.
Well, I certainly will. Come to think of it, must be kind of tough on Geraldine taking care of two babies.
Well, she hired a nurse to look after the other baby.
Oh.
Yeah. She was afraid that little Jamie might catch some of my nasty germs, so...
Smart thinking.
We don't need a nurse. All she does is sit in there and read. I think that's the thing I mind most about being sick. I miss tucking the little guy in at night.
Just relax. In a couple of days, everything's going to be back to normal.
I guess.
Hey, have you heard from the office? Chances are you're going to be up to your neck in work when you get back.
Well, I don't mind. I still can't wait to get back. The thought of reading another magazine. Been through the paper, back to front, done the crossword puzzle. Oh, reminds me. I read a little article. I think you might be interested, unless you've seen it already.
Oh, if it was in the comics or the sports section, I think he has.
No, this has to do with the senior partner of Seward, Paxton, and Whiteside.
Oh, my old friend David Henson.
Very same.
Well, now, what did he do to get himself into the newspaper?
He died.
Henson is survived by his wife and 2 children. What a shame.
Draper, I actually think you're upset.
Never like to hear of anybody dying.
Still, there wasn't any love lost between the two of you, was there?
Never even met the man. That's why it's such a shame. I'm never going to be able to keep that promise I made to myself.
What promise was that?
Have a confrontation with him when he got back from his trip.
Come on,
I
Draper.
wanted to find out why he lied to me, why he was playing games with my life. Looks like I'll never know now.
I thought you were over all of
If
this.
Henson had had the courage to tell me why he blocked my appointment, I wouldn't feel this way.
Well, look, the man has gone to the great courtroom in the sky now, so you're not going to know. You might as well relax.
Yeah. I still wanted to know what he had against me.
Draper, forget it. The man is dead. The job is taken. Just let bygones be bygones.
Sure. Sure.
Oh, Mike, please. You act as if you expect to see Benny Hayes come up the driveway any minute.
No, I don't think he would do that. Strikes me as the type who would use the back door or a window.
Honey, he's not a second-story man. He's a pusher.
But we know that he must have been hanging around the house or he wouldn't have been able to spot Deborah leaving here.
I still don't understand how that happened. How did the police find out about all that?
Well, that sort of thing is part of their job, isn't it?
It's part of my job to keep the police out.
No, your job was to get the best possible story for your paper. Unfortunately, you picked a lemon.
Oh, please, don't remind me.
Well, it wasn't your fault. Hoodlums seldom come with character references. Now, look, what did he say to you exactly?
As I told you, very little. He said he knows that the police are aware of what he had done.
He didn't threaten you in any way?
No, not at all.
Because if he did, that would be reason enough for Chief Mallory to have him picked up again.
I really would like to know how they found out.
Nancy, that's not important. What is important is to make sure that you never see Benny Hayes again. I'll get that. If it's Benny, I have a few choice words for him. Hello?
Hello, Mr. Carr. I'm glad I caught you in.
Who's this?
Philip Seward, Mr. Carr. How are you?
Oh, hello, Mr. Seward. How are things in New York?
Well, everything was fine when I left there a couple of hours ago. I just arrived in Monticello. As a matter of fact, I'm still at the airport. I have to meet a client first thing in the morning.
I see.
I was wondering, are you free this evening?
Well, as a matter of fact, I am.
Well, if it's not too much of an imposition, I'd like to stop by to see you and your wife.
Certainly.
I would like to talk to you about David Henson. The late David Henson.
Hollow threats, that's all they were.
You're convinced of that?
Of course, she didn't mean a word she said.
Margot's refusing to grant you a divorce. It contradicts everything you've told me.
Nola, Margo wants a separation as much as I do.
Then why won't she grant you the divorce?
That's another one of her cruel games, turning the screws a little bit tighter every time, exerting every bit of power she has left over me.
You said that she always wanted to be the dominant force in your relationship.
Which found out I wasn't the obeisant husband, the obliging fetch you could lead around on a diamond-studded leash. I quickly fell out of her good graces.
And now she's bitter.
She's jealous, too. Must be jealous. She must have learned that I had found someone, and she was destined to stay alone. She'll come to her senses.
Oh, I'm afraid you don't know very much about women, Elliot. Getting rid of you won't give her nearly the satisfaction that holding on to you will.
What?
Well, what better way to gain a little sweet revenge than to prevent you from having what you want very much?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
I take her at her word, Elliot. She says she won't divorce you, she won't. The last thing she's going to do is contribute to your happiness.
Yes. The divorce papers would pave the way, wouldn't it? Just I can't have this. I can't let it. I'm pulling the strings like this. I won't stand for it.
Well, then fight.
How? Arm wrestle her for the divorce papers? Even then, she'd probably win. Margo's a street fighter.
In a court of law, Elliot. Demand the divorce.
Those things are messy affairs.
Oh, well, a lot of dirty laundry may be hung out in public display, but that should work to your favor. You did say that the breakup was her fault.
If I did instigate some sort of action, Margo would get the best legal counsel money could buy.
Darling, I know several attorneys who aren't exactly ambulance chasers.
Yeah, but Margo's too clever. You know, she would invent some story. She would have no compunction about that. And the result would not be what we want.
Well, then you'll just have to remain Mr. Margo Huntington.
I can stand it. I won't have that. I must free myself of this woman.
Darling, you know I'll be by your side, but not too close. Margo would definitely use that in her favor.
Nothing will keep us apart.
We don't have to be apart, Elliot.
Listen, I promise you, our wedding day will be the same day my divorce becomes final.
Look, you know, we could just continue as we are. We wouldn't have to go through all those nasty court procedures. We could just simply live together. It's quite fashionable these days.
No, I couldn't do that. I couldn't live like that. I'm sorry.
But why?
Listen, Nola, I've come to the point in my life where I need emotional security. I need the kind of commitment that marriage provides. I must have you as my wife. Nothing else.
About a year ago, David told all the senior partners that he was suffering from a serious and progressive illness, so his passing away didn't come as any great surprise.
I'm sure you must feel a great loss.
I knew David a lot of years. He was a gifted attorney, a fine man. However, I didn't come here to deliver his eulogy.
But Mr. Henson is the topic of discussion.
Yes. I thought that you should know about a discussion that I had with David in the hospital a few days before he died.
What did he say?
Well, he told me how terribly he felt about the way that he had treated Draper when he was being considered for a position in our firm.
He had rejected Draper without giving him a personal interview.
And at the time, he thought he had little alternative. He wished the things could have been different.
I'm afraid his belated pangs of guilt will be of little consolation to Draper.
But his remorse was genuine. But you see, he never explained to me the basis for his actions.
Well, you had thought he was doing it as a favor to Margo Huntington.
I had my suspicions. But it was David's wife that filled in the missing pieces of the puzzle.
She was aware of the situation?
David was devoted to his wife. Before he died, he told her the whole story. I imagine to clear his conscience. She felt that I should know.
And do you feel that we should know?
Yes. You see, years ago, David handled all of Margo Huntington's legal affairs. But they also became very close friends. So when she found out that Draper was being considered for the position, she called David to block the appointment.
Because she didn't want her daughter to move to New York.
Well, once April realized how much Draper wanted that job, she was resigned to the move. Margo had no right to interfere.
Yes, and when you confronted David with the issue, Mr. Carr, several months ago, he saw how he was hurting Draper, and that's why he agreed once again to meet him.
But he canceled that, too.
Well, I'm afraid we have Mrs. Huntington to thank for that as well.
I see.
When she got wind of David's change of heart, she blackmailed him into avoiding Draper.
How?
She told David that if he did not make sure that Draper did not get the appointment, she would tell his wife certain facts regarding David's past that would, as she put it, turn him into a bachelor overnight. As I say, David loved his wife. Frances wasn't a well woman at the time. He would have done anything to protect her.
And running off to Europe was his way of avoiding the situation.
Yes. Oh, but also David knew he was running out of time. It was the last opportunity to take his wife on a trip that he'd been promising her a long time.
But he also knew that the job would be filled in the interim.
Well, we kept the job open a long while. We just couldn't afford to wait any longer, and we did have a candidate that was fully qualified.
Draper had his heart set on that job.
Yes, well, with all due respect to Draper, the man that we have now is doing a first-rate job.
If he ever finds out about this.
Oh, no, I don't think that you should tell him. It's just that you two have been so supportive of Draper that I felt that you should know the truth.
Well, I can't say I'm pleased to hear the news, but at least it clears up the mystery.
I do wish there was something I could do to correct the injustice.
Mr. Seward, we've been aware for some time that Margo would go to great lengths to keep her daughter nearby.
Oh, but she's gone too far, Mike. Much too far.
Well, this is a good-looking young man you've got here.
Are you gonna thank the chief for the compliment? Huh?
Maybe he's a strong, silent type.
No.
You never had any children, did you, Derek?
No, my ex was never the type to win Mother of the Year awards.
Nicole is a wonderful mother. If you'd been married to a woman like her, you might have had different thoughts about it.
I think you might be right.
Hey, to break up the children's hour here, there's a call for you, Doc.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodman.
Look at those square shoulders he's got. I wouldn't be surprised if he put himself through college on a football scholarship.
Can you play football and be pre-med? Miles swears he has the hands of a surgeon.
Mrs. Wilkes, I really don't think there's any point in my making a house call. I mean, you said little Johnny doesn't have any fever, so... No, it's probably nothing more than a sore throat. I tell you what you do. Just give him a couple of children's aspirins, right? And then in the morning, if he's not feeling any better, you give me a call and I will stop by.
Nicole,
no trouble.
anytime you want to get together
Goodbye.
and talk about that interview I promised to give you, just let me know.
Well, I'll have to look at my appointment book before you leave.
Well, no, I'm flattered that you would make that kind of an offer. Yes, it is short notice, but I'll do my best. Yeah, okay, I'll get back to you. Goodbye.
What's that all about?
Now, talk about coincidences. No sooner do we stop discussing separate vacations, and it looks like I am going to have to take one.
What are you talking
Well,
about?
it's a very important medical seminar being held. That was the coordinator on the phone, and they want me to give a speech.
Sounds like quite an honor.
Yeah, it is. Only thing is that the seminar's being held in Center City. So it looks like I'm gonna have to spend a couple of days out of town.
Seems as though a harmony is hard to find, always on our mind. In frustrated days pass without sight, the edge of night, half dark, half light, as we watch our hearts trying to hold the tenderness that we once had, halfway glad.
I just can't figure it out, Draper. Miles hates conventions, meetings, seminars, all those things.
Oh, April, he's gone to them before, hasn't he?
Of course he has, but never without Nicole. Well, that's what I mean. Those two are almost never apart.
Hey, now come on, you know that's not true, April. Look at all the long hours he spends at the office. All the late hours Nicole spends at the studio.
That's not what I mean, and you know that's not apart. Draper, I don't know. I'm worried about him.
Nicole seem worried?
Yes. As a matter of fact, she seems very disturbed. I don't blame her. She's told me all these strange things Miles has done. Well, look at this. This is a prime example of it. You wouldn't do anything like that, would you?
Do what? Go to a medical seminar? No, I'm a lawyer.
Come on, that's not what I mean. You wouldn't just take off and go somewhere without me, would you? Or at least not without asking me to go.
Me? No. Why would I do that?
Because that's what you did last night.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Well, you did. Did it in my dream.
April, I know you think your dreams are special, but this one is just damn silly.
I know it's silly, and I know you would never do anything like that, so tell me now why I dreamt it.
Because you weren't dreaming about me. Now, you read that dream book. What did it say about symbols? Dreams are full of symbols. One thing can stand for another. One person could mean someone else.
Okay, I know what you're saying, that I actually dreamt about Miles, but you were the one in the dream.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Draper, that's not possible. It was too real. It was specific, like all my other dreams.
Look, are you talking about the dream with the baby in the hospital?
No, this one wasn't in the hospital. This one was right here in this house.
That's good. At least you saw some different scenery.
Yeah, it was different. And yet, it was similar. I mean, oh, Draper, all those dreams, they make me feel very sad and lonely. Well, I felt that in this dream, too, only this time there was, I don't know, there was something else.
Well, come on. Tell me about it.
All right, well, I was in the kitchen, and I heard the baby crying, and the crying was coming from upstairs.
That's logical, April. I mean, that's where the nursery's going to be.
Yes. Well, anyway, I called to you to go up and get her, and when you didn't answer me, I went running out after her myself. I'm coming. Draper, could you just go up and get her for me, please? Draper?
What do you know? A letter from Harry Grayson. You think he's finally going to pay his bill? You know, if we charged this guy interest on what he owed us, we'd make a fortune.
Is Eric Watkins there? It's my car. Oh, I see. Well, would you tell him I called? Ask him to call me back, please. He knows what it's about. Thank you. What's that?
It's a letter from Henson's widow.
Henson?
Yeah, David Henson. You know, the lawyer from Seward Paxton Whiteside? The one that stopped me from getting that job in New York? He died not too long ago. His obit was in the Law Journal the other day. Mike, why is his wife writing me? One way to find out, huh?
Draper, Nothing.
What do you know?
What?
Listen to this. Dear Mr. Scott, you don't know me, of course, and you're probably wondering why I'm writing you so soon after my husband's passing. But in fact, it was David's death which prompted me to write and tell you that you were very much on his mind, even to the very end. The guy must have had a conscience after all, huh? David was far more disturbed about the situation regarding you than you could possibly imagine. He knows that he mistreated you badly and that he broke his promise to your associate, Mr. Carr.
Well, he did that. He swore to me he was going to see you.
However, I feel that I can explain some of David's odd behavior, and perhaps you'll be able to forgive him for the pain he must have caused you if you hear the truth about what occurred. If you ever have occasion to visit New York, and I'm sure your practice requires you to do so, I'd very much like to talk to you about this unhappy situation. Yours truly. The truth about what occurred? Mike, what does she mean? No, there's obviously more here than I understand. Mike? Mike, remember that promise I made to myself about going to New York and confronting Henson with this when he got back from his trip?
I never thought you were serious about it.
I can still do it. I can still go to New York and see what she means. Yeah, Mr. Stein, I was thinking about coming up as soon as possible. It all depends on when you can get your people together for me. Today? Yeah, that'd be fine. All I have to do is get a reservation on a late morning flight to New York now. Yeah? Are you sure that you can get your people together? Uh-huh. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be here. I'll be here for the next hour or so. If you have any change in your plans, give me a call. Thank you. See you then. Well, can't ask for better timing than that, can we?
Stein wants you in New York.
Mm-hmm. He's calling his people together right now.
Well, let's face it, Draper. Your client's interests are not uppermost in your mind right now.
Look, Mike, all I have to do is go over that merger agreement with him. Won't take more than 2 or 3 hours.
Leaving you with enough time to visit Mrs. Henson.
I've got to see what she has to say, Mike.
Draper, is it all that important? You said yourself it was a dead issue, that you really wanted to forget the whole
I'm
thing.
trying to forget it, Mike, but other people aren't allowing me that.
All you have to do is write Mrs. Henson a letter thanking her, telling her that you're willing to let bygones be bygones. I'm sure that's what she really wants to hear.
Excuse me, Mike. I have to see if Anna can get me on that plane.
Draper, you're making April's dream come true, you know.
No, I'm not, Mike.
She dreamt that you were missing from the house, didn't she?
I'm not going to be missing. I'm going to New York for 1 day, that's all. I'll be back tonight.
Nicole, are you sure you're feeling better? You still sound a little down.
Oh, yeah, I'm all right. I was just feeling a little bit silly about making such a fuss about Miles going away on an overnight trip without me. Oh, truth is, if he had asked me, well, it would have been a problem.
You mean because of work?
Oh, yeah. Margo's done 2 shows for me already this week. And just see asking her to do another one. You know, there's so much preparation with every show, and, well, it's more than just getting in front of the camera.
I know, but something tells me that if Miles had asked you to go to this seminar with him, you would have made arrangements.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Anyway, it's too late. It's already gone.
He's already left for Center City?
Took a shuttle flight first thing this morning.
Nicole, I thought he was leaving later today and was going to go to the office first.
He was up bright and early this morning. Didn't even have time for breakfast.
Yeah.
Seemed very eager to leave. Never seen him this excited about a medical seminar before.
No, he's never gotten turned on by conventions and things like that.
Just amazed that he could change all his appointments that quickly.
Nicole, what's wrong with Miles?
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? We both know that there's something wrong.
You know my theory.
Yeah, overwork, I know.
Well, don't you agree? Fatigue can make people act differently than they usually do, can it?
Sure it can, yeah. Yeah, well, look, at least he's getting a break from his routine, huh?
Yeah. So am I, as a matter of fact. Did Margo tell you I'm not going to be in the studio until later today?
Nobody tells me anything. Are you taking some time off?
Oh, no, it's work. You know that interview we're doing with Derek Mallory? Well, we decided to do some tape footage at the police training facilities, and Derek's going to be here any minute, and we're going to run on over and see the shooting range and all that stuff.
Sounds exciting, huh?
I guess so. You're right. I'd much rather be with Miles.
Ooh, it's cold.
You? Why can't you leave me in peace?
Oh, Miles, you're gonna catch your death. And just think, you could be all cozy and warm right in your own little home right now.
It's warm in hell. Why don't you go back there?
Oh, no, I'm having too good a time right here, Miles. Cold and all. You know, the dead have so few pleasures, and surely this is one of the greatest of them. Watching the living suffer.
You always did enjoy watching people suffer, Denise.
Yes, I guess I did. I suppose it helped me forget my own pain. Oh, Miles, if you could see yourself right now.
I'm glad you're amused.
Oh, yes, I am. I'm very amused. Say, this is a real good joke you're playing on Nicole, Miles. Telling her that you're flying away on a business trip and then staying here and skulking around behind hedges and gonna jump out and catch her committing some flagrant violation of her marital vows. Oh, yeah, Miles, it's just delicious.
I know what I'm doing.
Well, of course you do, darling. I know that. You have every right to be suspicious. Nicole does care for Derek Mallory. And he cares for her. They want each other. They want each other desperately, only up until now, you see, they haven't had any opportunity. But you've given them an opportunity on a silver platter, haven't you?
Dr. Kavanaugh, isn't it? Right, that's you.
What'd you say?
I'm Dennis Smith. We met at the station house, remember?
Oh, yeah. Hello, Dennis. It's cold out, isn't it?
Sure is. A little too cold just to be sitting out here, isn't it?
Well, I was just, I just was relaxing. I was thinking over a case in my mind. But you're right, you're right, it's too cold.
Well, that has to be the best snowman anybody ever built.
Sure is. She looks like she's so cold, she could come in and get warm.
Oh, yeah, we ought to put him in front of the fire. Next thing you know, we'll have a little puddle there instead of a bearskin rug, huh?
Speaking of bare skin,
Speaking of food, let's go get something to eat. I'm starved.
yes, I think I'm working up an appetite. Gee, too bad Robbie stocked this place with all that food. We could stay here for a week.
We've only got 2 days, Steve. That is it.
I thought you might be in the mood to getting snowbound up here, you know what I mean? I mean, from the look of that sky out there, we might be getting some more of that white stuff, you know?
Oh, look at this fireplace, Steve. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, I'm so glad we came up here. Worth that drive, you know? I feel like I could stay here forever.
Deborah, you know, we may be in a little trouble.
Why?
We could starve to death up here. I can't find a can opener.
There has to be one.
You know, this must be Robbie's idea of a joke.
Oh, well, Steve, you know, I told you we should have gotten food on the way up.
Yeah, but I thought maybe we should come up here and see what we had first. Well, I guess we'll just have to get in the car and drive to town before the snow starts, you know?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, where's the town?
Don't you know?
No, Robbie only told me how to get up here.
Oh, great. Well, I don't even remember seeing a town for the last 20 miles, Steve.
No, we're pretty far north, too. Not too many communities up here.
Look, why don't you just make a phone call?
The place doesn't have a phone.
Well, great. How are we going to stay up here for 3 days without any food?
Wait a minute, I got it. I know what to do. All I've got to do, we can stay here all week. I can just tear these cans open with my bare hands.
Sure you can. I think we better get into the car right now and get some food.
No, we can't do that. There's only one thing to do.
Oh, no.
Don't take it so serious.
What's that?
Oh.
What do you have in there?
Would you believe a pencil?
I don't know, but... Did you hide the can opener?
How about that? Oh, well.
I love you. Oh. I love you.
You know something? I don't think caviar would taste as delicious right now.
I'm going to remember that next New Year's Eve when I give you champagne and pork and beans.
Oh, gosh. Deborah, can I tell you something?
Sure.
You know the other day when I asked you to come up here to the cabin?
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I wanted to say, what I wanted to ask you. It was sort of a last-minute substitute, you know?
What do you mean?
I was going to ask you again if you'd marry me, believe it or not. Don't worry, I'm not going to ask you now. I think I know our relationship. I understand it. I understand why it's so important to you not to, to get snowbound. Even though it'd be fun.
Oh, it would be wonderful.
But it's not what you want. I mean, I know that you want to get back to your job, to your career, being a cop, being a good cop. I know it's as important to you as it is to me.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. I know it's harder for you to prove yourself in this job than it is for me. And I know we're both afraid that maybe marriage would change things in your mind, too.
Yeah. It would change things. And it changed things for you, too, Steve. Even if you said that you still wanted me to have my career after we get married, if we get married, you'd start thinking differently.
I know I would. I'd start thinking of you as a wife instead of a cop. Someday as a mother instead of a police detective.
You know, I want that, too. Someday. Just not now.
I know. That's why I am no longer going to push the subject. I think we're going to have to wait until you know exactly what you want to do with the rest of your life, as long as you understand one thing, and that's that I love you. And that I'll always be there for you. Always.
Listen, I don't know what to tell you. All he told me was that he was going to some big hotel in Center City. He didn't say the name. Yeah, of course, I did, but it's my doorbell. Just a minute. I'm sure he'll call you later, okay? Bye-bye. Derek, hi.
Am I too early?
Oh, no, you're just on time. Mrs. Goodman isn't here yet, though. She's a very wonderful lady in very many ways, but she's not too punctual, evidently. Here.
Does this mean you want to postpone our expedition?
No, of course not. Come in. She'll be here any minute. Sit down, relax. And then give you a nice warm cup of coffee.
Oh, yes, I could use one.
Got it right
Feels
here.
like winter's finally arrived.
Yeah, I heard it was cold out.
Yeah, you better dress warm. We're going to tour the outdoor facilities.
Don't worry about me. I have a nice warm coat.
Thank you.
How do you take that?
Oh, this is fine, black.
Would you like some toast or anything?
Don't bother. I've already had breakfast this morning. How's Miles?
Well, I hardly saw my husband this morning. He was up half an hour earlier than usual, which is very early indeed, and ran off. Said he didn't want to miss the plane.
Oh, I know. I'm the same way about traveling. I'm so afraid I'm going to miss a plane that I wind up having to sit in the airport for an hour, chewing my nails. Oh, by the way, if I didn't make myself clear last night, I really enjoyed dinner. Thank you.
Oh, I'm glad.
I was surprised getting a last-minute invitation like that.
Oh, never a dull moment? I think you know why Miles wanted you here. He really felt awful about letting you down last week.
I know why Miles wanted me here. And you always do everything Miles wants.
No, not at all. I wanted you here, too.
It's too bad the evening had to end so early like it did with Miles getting that phone call about the seminar this morning.
Yeah, it was too bad. But I don't think he agrees with us. He seemed very eager to get going this morning. He seemed glad to get out of the house for a couple of days. Listen, Derek, don't pay any attention to me, okay? I think I'm a little bit miffed about Miles going off by himself without me. Even on a business trip. Typical female.
There's nothing typical about you.
Wish Mrs. Goodman would get here. I feel like I'm imposing on your time.
Oh, no, you're not. Hey, I told you. Good publicity for the department's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah. But I didn't mean to take your entire day. Would you like some more coffee?
Oh, no, thanks. That's your third cup, you know.
This is my fourth cup. A little nervous this morning.
It's not nerves, it's concern.
Yeah, it is concern. I'm very concerned. Well, whatever it is that's wrong with Miles, I'm sure he'd work a little less, he'd be a lot better.
You know, I've even told him I'll relieve him of his forensic duties.
But you can't tell him anything. He's so stubborn now. He doesn't hear anything. And he's not usually like that, Derek. I swear he isn't. He's sympathetic, and he's kind, and he's thoughtful. I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do to help him get through this. Whatever it is. Miles.
Well, I thought I'd have to wait all day to find you two together.
What happened? Did you miss your plane?
I didn't have to wait that long, did I? You were over here first thing in the morning, weren't you, Chief?
Now, wait a minute. Nicole and I planned this meeting last night. We're going to tour the police facilities, do some videotape.
Tour the facilities. That's a cute way of putting it. That's very cute.
Miles, what's the matter with you?
You're disappointed, aren't you? You're disappointed that I missed my plane, spoiled your rendezvous?
Oh, wait a minute, Miles. I know what you're getting at, and it sounds stupid. This isn't a rendezvous.
Just leave, Derek. I'm not feeling terribly responsible this morning, and I don't want to start off the day by assaulting the chief of police. That wouldn't be too wise, would it?
I'm not leaving unless your wife asks me to.
Derek, please go. Listen, I'll call you later about the program, okay?
That's right, Derek. Please go. My wife will call you later about the program, okay?
You sure everything will be all right? You know, I hate to leave you here with...
What, with her husband?
Miles, cool down. You've worked yourself into this state for no reason at all.
Miles, for heaven's sake, how could you say that to him? How could you say that about me?
Isn't it obvious? I was not in the house 5 minutes before you had your new lover over here.
My lover? Are you crazy? Honey, you must have heard us talking about this field trip last night.
I don't need to listen to your damn whispers. I knew what you were up to before I heard anything. Without hearing it, that's why I pretended there was that field trip out of town. Bet you were overjoyed, both you and Derek, alone at last.
Stop it!
Made one tiny mistake. Should have given you a little more time. Should have given you an extra couple of minutes so you could have both gotten upstairs. No, you're probably much happier down here, weren't you? So you wouldn't disturb the little kid.
God.
Wait a second. Just wait a second. I've got more to tell you.
Listen, I have to take care of that. I mean, to me. You let go of me, please! Miles.
Well, I thought I'd have to wait all day to find you two together.
What happened? Did you miss your plane?
I didn't have to wait that long, did I? You were over here first thing in the morning, weren't you, Chief?
Now, wait a minute. Nicole and I planned this meeting last night. We're going to tour the police facilities, do some videotape.
Tour the facilities. That's a cute way of putting it. That's very cute.
Miles, what's the matter with you?
You're disappointed, aren't you? You're disappointed that I missed my plane? Spoiled your rendezvous?
Oh, wait a minute, Miles. I know what you're getting at, and it sounds stupid. This isn't a rendezvous.
Just leave, Derek. I'm not feeling terribly responsible this morning, and I don't want to start off the day by assaulting the chief of police. That wouldn't be too wise, would it?
I'm not leaving unless your wife asks me to.
Derek, please go. Listen, I'll call you later about the program, okay?
That's right, Derek. Please go. My wife will call you later about the program, okay?
You sure everything will be all right? You know, I hate to leave you here with...
What, with her husband?
Miles, cool down. You've worked yourself into this state for no reason at all.
Miles, for heaven's sake, how could you say that to him? How could you say that about me?
Isn't it obvious? I was not in the house 5 minutes before you had your new lover over here.
My lover? Are you crazy? Honey, you must have heard us talking about this field trip last night.
I don't need to listen to your damn whispers. I knew what you were up to before I heard anything. Without hearing it, that's why I pretended there was that field trip out of town. Bet you were overjoyed, both you and Derek, alone at last.
Stop it!
Made one tiny mistake. Should have given you a little more time. Should have given you an extra couple of minutes so you could have both gotten upstairs. No, you're probably much happier down here, weren't you? So you wouldn't disturb the little kid.
God.
Wait a second. Just wait a second. I've got more to tell you.
Listen, I have to take care of that. I mean, to me. You let go of me, please!
to you. I want to talk to Nicole. See, I just found out Draper's got to go out of town tonight, and, well, I might be alone, and I thought, well, maybe Nicole could have dinner. But then again, if you're home, then she's not going to be alone.
April, there's been an accident.
What?
Nicole tripped on the stairs and fell, and she hit her head. They just took her to the hospital in an ambulance.
Oh, God, is it serious?
I don't know. She's not conscious. I've asked the best man in Monticello to take a look at her, but he's supposed to call me back. That's why I can't stay on the phone.
All right, Miles, look, I'm heading over to the hospital right away. I'll meet you there.
Miles, I heard the emergency report on my car radio. What happened?
This is not a police matter, Derek. I called an ambulance. I didn't call the cops.
Came back because I was concerned.
Nicole tripped and fell on the stairs, and she cut her head and probably's got a concussion.
A few minutes ago when I just left here, you were in a pretty foul mood, Doctor.
What is that, an accusation?
No, it's an observation.
Are you implying that what happened here is not an accident? Or you're just going to have to wait till she regains consciousness and ask her? She'll tell you the whole thing.
Will she?
You'll probably be the first one she wants to see, as a matter of fact.
Damn it, Miles, what's the matter with you? Have you gone out of your mind? Bursting in here like a jealous husband out of a comic opera, accusing Nicole of something she said.
Well, we're both probably making too many accusations this morning. Maybe we just should cool it. Maybe you should go back to your warm little office down at headquarters and just take care of things there and let me handle things here in my own house.
There's something very strange about the way you're handling things, Miles. And if I had the jurisdiction, you'd be seeing the police.
Well, you don't have the jurisdiction, do you?
Where'd they send her? Monticello General? How come you didn't go along with the ambulance?
We have a child in the house, you remember? Housekeeper didn't get here. I'm trying to get a hold of her.
What is this?
A bottle fell off.
There was no bottle up here. This bottle came from that box.
Darn it! Just get out of here! And one more thing! Stay away from her!
Anything I can do for you in New York, Mike?
Sounds like you've got enough to do, Draper.
Right. I called Mrs. Henson. She said to call her from the airport. She'll see me as soon as she can.
What time is your meeting with Stein Associates?
4 o'clock. Don't worry, I'll make it plenty of time. Mike, thanks a lot for trying to understand how I feel about this.
They said I could come. Of course, come right.
April.
It's a light concussion, but she'll be fine.
What about the bandage?
It's all right. It's just a few stitches. You probably won't even have a scar. Dr. Corwin is better with a needle and thread than a French couturier.
Is it a bad cut?
No, not really. It's close to the hairline, so her hair will cover it up.
What happened?
You'll have to ask your friend. I'll see you later.
What happened? It was an accident, April. It was just a stupid accident. It wasn't his fault.
Whose fault?
Is Miles with you?
No, he's not. I'm sure he's on his way.
Are you sure? I want to see him. He must be feeling awful.
Why? Nicole, what happened? I spoke to Miles. He said he missed his plane.
He never intended to go anywhere. It was just a trick. He wanted to trick me.
Trick you why?
Derek Mallory came over to the house. It was just for business. He came because we're going to go to the police academy. Miles came in like a madman.
Like a madman, Miles?
He accused me of... Listen, I can't even say it. It's unbelievable. I love him so much. How could he even think that?
It's okay. It's okay.
April, he's really sick.
My fault, Mrs. Goodman. I did tell Nicole that I would call you and ask you to come over this morning. It just slipped my mind. A lot of things have slipped my mind lately.
Boy, I really feel lousy about it, Doc. Now you tell me Mrs. C is in the hospital?
It's all right. I just spoke to the doctor in charge of her case, and he says she's going to be fine, just fine.
Yeah, but you want to get over there, don't you? Look, I'll get a cab in 2 minutes. I'll be there right away.
I really appreciate that, Mrs. Goodman.
Oh, look, Doc, you people are like my family. You know that. And look, as soon as I get a chance, I'm going to go over to see the missus at the hospital.
Thank you, Mrs. Goodman. Goodbye. Still here?
Oh, yes, still here. Enjoying myself. You have no idea how much fun I'm having, Miles.
Yes, I do.
Well, just take a look at yourself. You look perfectly dreadful. You've got blood all over your shirt. Miles, you can't go out like that, you know.
No, I can't. Get out of my way.
No. No, I really can't let you go up there, Miles. Really, it's for your own good. Honestly, you wouldn't like what you saw.
Get out of my way! Get out of my mind!
I'm sorry.
Darling, you know, if you do want to see Nicole before the visiting hours are over, I suggest you get a move on.
Margo, I really can't do that right now. We're swamped with work.
To tell you the truth, ever since we had the news about the accident, you have been so preoccupied that your valued assistant has been slightly less than valuable.
I'm really sorry. I am concerned.
I know you are, darling. Look, as soon as you get to the hospital, call me and give me a first-hand account. I'm kind of worried, too.
Thanks. I will. Look, I will be right back right after visiting hours are over.
No, that's not necessary, darling. Go home.
No, I don't want to go home. I mean, go and stare at four walls. You know, God, what a time for Draper to go.
Well, he's coming home this evening, didn't he say?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wish he hadn't gone.
Oh, darling, wait a minute. Do me a favor. Tell Mary to stop all calls. I've just got to get a timing on that newscast.
No problem. I'll see you later.
Okay, thank you. For several hours this morning, Walnut Street, USA resembled Venice, Italy, as a water main break made the avenue better suited for travel by gondola than by automobile. But, Mary, for heaven's sake, didn't April tell you to hold... Oh, all right, fine, thank you. Well, hello, Mrs. Madison.
Hello, Mrs. Dawn. How are you?
What can I do for you? I am busy.
Well, we do have something to discuss.
Oh, do we?
Yes. I'm sure you're
aware of the topic.
Mrs. Madison, I don't like to sound rude, but I had got to get a newscast ready for this afternoon, and I really do not have the time.
Oh, well, then I'd be quite willing to come by the studio and wait until you do have a free moment.
Well, I just don't see the point.
This is very important to me. Besides, the sooner this is settled, the better, for all concerned.
Well, all right, if you must.
Mrs. Henson, this is Mr. Scott. I'm at LaGuardia. My plane just arrived.
You certainly didn't waste any time getting here, Mr. Scott.
Well, from your letter, I got the impression that you and I had something very important to discuss.
You have my address. You're welcome to come over here as soon as you can.
Yes, Mrs. Goodman, they're taking real good care of me here. I promise you. I'm fine. How's Adam? Oh, good. Good. Miles left with the suitcase? Oh, I guess he must be bringing some of my things over. Oh, listen, tell Adam that Mommy gives him a big kiss, and I love him a lot, and then we'll be home real soon, okay? Bye, Mrs. Goodman. Thank you. Come in. Oh, Miles.
No, but it's your friendly neighborhood chief of police.
Oh, Derek, hello.
If you're not in the mood for company, I understand. I can come back later.
Oh, no, come on in. Hi.
I brought you some flowers. Thought maybe that would cheer you up a little bit.
Oh, lovely. Thank you.
How do you feel? What's the verdict on your injury?
Oh, it's just a concussion, a few stitches. Dr. Corwin has promised me his best needlework. It's not even going to show.
Nicole, I want to tell you I'm really sorry about all this. About what happened back at your place and about this accident.
I'm sorry too, Derek.
You know I went back there.
You did? Why?
Well, after I had left, I heard the ambulance distress call on my radio. Wanted to go back to see if there's anything I could do. By the time I got there, you'd already been taken away.
Did you see Miles?
Yes? Well, he seemed very worried about you. Nicole, tell me exactly what happened after I left.
Well, as you said, it was an accident.
I can't believe the two of you didn't have words after his accusation.
Of course we did. But not very many. Adam started to cry, and I ran upstairs to see him, and I just guess I ran too quickly, and I tripped.
Where was Miles when this happened?
I tripped, Derek. I don't think anything else because it isn't true.
You're sure you're telling me the truth? You're not just saying this to protect your...
Absolutely.
I'm sorry. Look, in my experience, it's not unusual for a woman who's been beaten by her husband to claim it's her own fault.
Derek, I'm not a battered wife. Please, please, don't make anything worse than it is.
And you admit that things aren't good between you.
I didn't say that. It's true that Miles hasn't been himself lately. I think it's just overwork. But it doesn't mean that we've been arguing or quarreling or anything like that.
Nicole, this morning your husband came into the house like an avenging angel, accusing us of
I
having an
know,
affair.
Derek. I'm sorry. Please? Please? I don't want to talk about this now.
It's okay, I understand. Where is Miles?
Why do you ask?
Well, I would think a concerned husband would want to be at his wife's side at a time like this.
He's going to be here any minute.
I see. And maybe I better go. Oh, wait, there's something else. When I was back at the house, I noticed a broken bottle.
A bottle?
A bottle of whiskey from the bar table. Looked like it had been thrown across the room and hit the fireplace.
Derek. Miles didn't throw anything to me. I mean, you've got to believe that. This was an accident.
Hurry it up, lady. I ain't got all day.
I'm trying. It isn't easy with you watching over my shoulder all the time.
Yeah, well, you ain't writing the great American novel.
Listen, Benny. Benny, you said you wanted all the facts. You don't want me to forget anything.
You know you owe me this, don't you, lady, huh? I mean, after the trick you tried to pull,
If
huh?
I had, I would have reported you and you would have been arrested.
Yeah, well, I don't have to worry about that now, huh? Your little note, it's gonna be my insurance policy. Let's see what you got.
Just out of curiosity, what would you have done if I refused to write that?
You don't want to know, lady. To whom it may concern, Mr. Benny Hayes, oh, I like the sound of that, yeah, and Mrs. Nancy Carr entered into an agreement in which she contracted with Mr. Hayes to have him supply certain information to be used as background material for an article for the Monticello News. In return, Mr. Hayes was to be paid the sum of $500. Mr. Hayes satisfactorily supplied said information and was willingly paid his fee.
That's what you wanted.
Yeah.
All right.
All you gotta do is sign it.
Wait a minute, Nancy. Sure you wouldn't like to have a lawyer look at that first?
So I finally meet the old man, huh?
Mr. Hayes, my purpose in coming here is to make sure that no harm comes to my wife.
Well, she's just fine. Why don't you go back to where you came from?
Mike, how did you find me?
By the time I got to the phone booth, you were gone. But I saw your car, then I noticed this diner. I figured you might have decided to stay in the neighborhood. Has Mr. Hayes been behaving himself?
He had me sign a statement saying that he'd gotten $500 legitimately.
Yeah, well, that's just to let Chief Mallory know all the rumors he's been hearing ain't true.
Sort of a disclaimer?
Yeah, you can call it that.
And it's a good thing I happened along.
That's a matter of opinion, mister.
Well, it could be advantageous to you as well, Benny.
What are you talking about?
Well, you wouldn't want that to be worthless because of some legal technicality, would you?
Hey.
Just as I thought. This would never stand up in court.
Why not?
That's not worth the paper it's written on.
What are you talking about? She put her name on it.
It has to be witnessed.
So you
Benny.
sign it. Here. Come on.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Benny. In its present form, there's nothing in it to indicate that she signed it of her own free will. You could have forced her to write this, threatened her with harm if she refused to comply.
She wanted to write the note. Hey, you tell him that. Come on.
You know what I think? I think it was written under duress, and that's a crime in and of itself.
Oh, please, no! Stop it! No, Mike! Please! No!
So hurry, Benny. Is this the guy, Mr. Carr?
That's him. Benny Hayes. He was worth waiting for, wasn't he?
Yeah, I've tangled with Benny before. Now it looks like we've got him on an assault charge.
Sure is pretty outside. You know, this beats watching the snow fall from my living room window. Except it does make the alley look kind of nice.
Yeah, well, the way it's coming down, we're gonna be able to make a lot more snowmen for our little friend outside.
I haven't had so much fun making snowmen, playing in the snow since I was a kid.
Well, there's nothing like the great outdoors.
Oh, I don't know about that. I think being indoors with you is pretty great.
Hot chocolate. It's so peaceful here, Steve. It's like everything bad is a million miles away. We don't have to think about any of it.
I know what I want to think about, and that's you. For the rest of the weekend, only you.
So glad you asked me to come up here. Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am.
Good. I think when we get back to civilization, I'm going to have to buy Robbie Moskowitz a nice gift for letting us use his place this weekend. How about an electric can opener?
Oh. We were lucky Chief Mallory let us to get the same days off.
Oh. I think we could stay here forever.
Goodness, I think we can too. Look at how it's coming down out there.
Yeah, it's starting to pile up.
You know, you went out for firewood not more than an hour ago, and it's already covered up. Look at that.
Yeah,
The
well,
tracks, they're not even there.
At least snow here doesn't turn into all that gray slush we get back home. This will stay pretty like this for days.
I want to get a forecast.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought we agreed. No contact with the outside world over here.
No, I just want to get a weather
The
report.
white stuff are expected to blanket the area before it's over. Due to the intensity of the storm, a traveler's advisory has been posted. By nightfall, dropping temperatures and blown snow should make most roads impassable. Highway Commissioner Harry Peterson says that once the snow stops, his crew will be out to clear the roads.
8 to 10 inches, Steve.
Who
Sounds like a
cares?
blizzard to me.
Oh, let it snow. Come on, I got you to keep me warm.
Steve,
Oh, look, I've never been snowbound before. I think it's exciting.
It's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow and school's going to be canceled, you know. We're not going to be able to get out of the cabin.
I know, somebody up there likes me.
We may be stuck here for days.
Oh, well, we've got plenty of food.
Mm.
If we run out of firewood, we'll have to just snuggle up close together and keep ourselves warm.
That's not the point.
Wait a minute, I thought that's what we both wanted, total privacy.
We have to be back at work day after tomorrow.
Robbie will tell the chief where we are.
I don't think it's right to take advantage of this situation. I don't think so, and you don't think so either, do you?
What do you suppose we should do?
I think we ought to get back into the car and get back to town before the
Oh.
roads get worse.
What, some kind of a romantic weekend, one day.
We'll have more time together in the future. I promise.
Under one condition.
What?
We sneak back into Monticello and not tell anybody we're there. Why? Well, that way we can hide out at your apartment for the rest of the weekend. I'm not ready to share you with anybody yet. What do you say?
It's a deal.
Good. I'll put out our fire.
Although I think it would be a good idea to call headquarters and find out what's going on.
Well, that's what I get for dating a cop.
You know what I think this all boils down to, Mrs. Manson?
Oh, thank you. Oh, please, do call me Nola. I thought we were friends.
All right, Nola. You know what I think it all boils down to? It all boils down to the fact that I have something that you seem to think you want.
Well, in a manner of speaking. But I thought it was something that you were perfectly willing to get rid of.
Well, I must admit that I do not find Elliot's company all that charming anymore.
Well, then.
Does not mean that I'm quite prepared to divorce him.
But isn't that the next logical step?
Is it?
Darling, aren't these things simply a matter of chemistry? Your chemistry didn't work with Elliot's, and so you did the sensible thing and parted company.
And you think that you have just the right chemistry, is that it?
Well, it's unfortunate that you and Elliot didn't work out, but that's hardly any reason to block our happiness.
Happiness? Oh, my dear lady, do you honestly expect to find happiness as Mrs. Elliot Dorn?
Look, darling, I have no great illusions about marriage. How could I? But I think it's a risk that's reasonable.
Would you like a little advice?
Not the kind you're about to give me, I'm sure.
Well, that's too bad. Because, to be absolutely frank with you, the only reason I agreed to have this meeting was to have the opportunity to tell you not to let Elliot make a complete fool out of you.
I see.
Because that's what he's going to do, you know. I mean, history has a way of repeating itself, and this is a classic example. He's going to make a fool out of you, Nola, just the way he made a fool out of me.
Look, with all due respect, Margo, we are two different people.
Oh, are we? I don't think so. No, not two, Elliot. We are not different at all. We are two mature, lonely, and surprisingly vulnerable women.
I don't think I care to listen to this.
Two rather wealthy women, as it turns out. Oh, for heaven's sake, face it, the man is a money-grubbing opportunist. That love you see pouring from his eyes is love, all right. It's love of your money.
You're speaking out of your own bitterness, Margo.
Speaking out of experience, for heaven's sake. I'm doing you a favor by refusing to divorce Elliot.
Are you sure you're not refusing the divorce merely because you're jealous?
You haven't heard a word I've said. All right. Just do me one little favor, would you? One more thing. When you talk to Elliot, tell him we had this little chat. And tell him that there's not one chance in a million that he's ever going to get a divorce. Tell him that he's never going to be able to make you his loving wife, and see how he reacts.
Look, he's already heard your decision. I was hoping I could change it.
Oh, I bet I know exactly what he said. I bet he said, "Oh, Nola, my darling, I love you far too much to be anything less to you than your loving husband." He did say that, didn't he? So predictable. That's because he's old-fashioned, you see. He's just old-fashioned enough to know that without being your legal husband, he will have no legal claim to your money.
Look, I've heard enough of this.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, woman, the man is a liar and a thief. I'm trying to warn you.
Look, if you loathe him so much, darling, get rid of him.
No, I can't. I can't be that cruel. You know, you're a very lucky woman, Nola, because as soon as he realizes that I am deadly serious, he might just do you the favor of getting rid of you.
In your letter, you mentioned the fact that your husband spoke of me on his deathbed.
He told me how much he'd hurt you.
Are you aware that your husband was the only member of the firm to veto my appointment? And I wanted that job very badly.
Not many young men faced with such a disappointment would be as restrained as you.
No, I was very bitter.
I hope you won't misunderstand me, Mr. Scott. I love my husband very much. But he was a man of many faults. David had his share of mistakes. Unfortunately, he was not the only one who was hurt by them.
What are you trying to say to me?
David was a man with a conscience. The way he treated you caused him a great deal of anguish in his last days. He made me promise to talk to you.
What did he have against me?
He had nothing against you, Mr. Scott. If it had been up to David, you probably would have been given that job.
Then why didn't he give me the job?
David's actions were far from arbitrary. At the time, he felt he had very strong motivations for rejecting you.
Then you know the reason.
David was nothing more than a pawn. He was being forced to hurt you.
By whom?
Well, I suppose it's a kindness to let you know that someone so close to you could do such a terrible thing.
Mrs. Henson, please tell me.
It was your mother-in-law. Margo Huntington saw to it that you never got that job.